this meeting to order. Mary, roll please.
Are you doing roll? Go ahead. Okay. Showalter. Arthur. Here. Howard.
Here.
Redland. Myers.
Thank you. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. Jake, do we have anybody signed up for public comment?
No one signed up.
Okay. We'll move on to proclamations and presentations. We'll start with National Police Week. I know I had a chance to talk with the police department earlier, and we are going to also read this proclamation on Thursday at 4 p.m. at the police department. I know they've got some business to attend to tonight, but we'll go ahead and read this tonight and celebrate them on Thursday then. Whereas in 1962, President Kennedy proclaimed May 15th as National Peace Officers Memorial Day and the calendar week in which May 15th falls as National Police Week, and whereas there are approximately 800,000 law enforcement officers serving in communities across the United States, including the dedicated members of the Goodland Police Department, and whereas the members of the Goodland Police Department play an important role in safeguarding the rights and freedoms of the citizens of our community, and whereas since the first recorded death in 1791, over 20,000 law enforcement officers in the United States have made the ultimate sacrifice and been killed in the line of duty, and whereas May 15th is designated as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of all the fallen officers and their families, and the U.S. flag should be flown at half-staff. And now, I, Jason Showalter, Mayor of the City of Goodland, do hereby proclaim the week of May 11th through the 17th as National Police Week in the City of Goodland, and encourage all citizens to publicly salute the service of law enforcement officers in our community and the communities across the nation. I hereunto set my hand and cause the seal of the City of Goodland, Kansas, to be affixed this May 5th of May 2025. Any of the other commissioners have anything to add?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, we're also proclaiming May Building Safety Month preparedness or proclamation. Whereas the City of Goodland recognizes that our growth and strength depends on the safety and essential role of our homes, buildings, and infrastructure play both in everyday life and when disaster strikes. And whereas our confidence in the resilience of these buildings that make up our community is achieved through the devotion and vigilant guardians, building safety and fire prevention officials, through the devotion of the vigilant guardians, I read that twice there. Building and safety prevention officials, architects, engineers, builders, tradespeople, design professionals, laborers, plumbers, electricians, and others in the construction industry who work year-round to ensure the safe construction of buildings. And whereas these modern building codes and standards include the safeguards to protect the public from hazards such as hurricanes, snowstorms, tornadoes, wildland fires, floods, earthquakes, and whereas Building Safety Month is sponsored by the International Code Council to remind the public about the critical role of our community's largely unknown protectors of public safety, our code officials, who assure us of safe, sustainable, and affordable buildings that are essential to our prosperity. And whereas Game On, the theme for the Building Safety Month 2025, encourages us all to get involved and raise awareness about building safety on a personal, local, and global scale. And whereas each year in observance of Building Safety Month, people all over the world are asked to consider the commitment to improve building safety, resilience, and economic investment at home and in the community, and to acknowledge the essential service provided to all of us by local, state, tribal, and federal building safety and fire prevention departments in protecting lives and property. I now, therefore, Jason Showalter, Mayor of City of Goodland, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2025 as Building Safety Month, and encourage our community and citizens to join us as we participate in Building Safety Month activities. Do any of my other commissioners have anything to add?
No.
Zach, I want to thank you for all of your hard work as we work through this month, but every other month of the year, the work that you do greatly impacts the community as a whole, so thank you for that.
Yeah, that's
Sure, absolutely.
Just my department that makes this possible. It's all the other departments as well, with Dustin, Neil, and Kenton as well, working together as a team to make sure everything comes together safely for the community.
Perfect. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you. All right, we'll move on to the consent agenda. Items A and B is the 4/21/2025 commission meeting minutes. B is the appropriation ordinance 2025-09, 2025-09A, and 2025-P09. We have any questions on the consent agenda?
I move that we approve consent agenda items A and B.
Have a motion
Second.
and a second by Commissioner Archer. Mary or Shauna, roll please.
Arthur,
Yes.
Redlin, Howard,
Yes.
Myers, Showalter.
Yes. Move on to ordinances and resolutions. Item A is Resolution 2025-14, a resolution providing for and authorizing the placement of stop signs at the intersection of 13th Street and Sherman Avenue. Kent, would you like to give us a brief rundown?
Mayor, as member of the commission, there was an issue brought up previously regarding the intersection at 13th and Sherman. It's has two churches and Chambers Park on 3 of those 4 corners there, and there's quite a bit of traffic at times. And right now, it is a no traffic signs are at the intersection right now, and there's been several accidents over the years at that intersection, or close calls, and there was a request, staff investigated it, and they put forward this resolution to authorize placement of stop signs for basically the north and southbound traffic at that location.
So I have a question. If I can recall correctly, I believe there's a dip right on that between the church and the park. So that's already causing the traffic to slow. Is there a reason we're not doing the other way?
The other way, there is stop signs at Center, at the next
Okay,
block over.
yeah.
And I think at Grand, but I'm not positive. At Kansas. So it's 2 blocks to the next one, if it's at
Okay.
Kansas. There are stop signs the other way as well. I mean, there's a stop sign at 12th and Sherman. But from 12th onward, it's basically open all the way down to 17th. Isn't that correct, Ken? So,
Thanks.
Can I put one of you two on the spot and just give us just maybe an example of what goes into a decision when you decide whether or not to put a stop sign at that location? Is that something that has to be done by traffic studies, or is it just observing traffic in the area? I assume if a citizen comes and they petition for a stop sign, we don't just put stop signs everywhere that people ask for it. So what's the thought process that goes into that?
Ken can buttress whatever I say. I'll start by saying just the reason that I just pointed out at the beginning regarding there's traffic generators at that intersection, as far as there's times when either the churches or both churches have events going on, and that's additional parking around that location. There's also events that occur in the park that causes quite a bit of traffic, or and also parking at that location. And that's part of the reason that people aren't paying attention, is they're watching the parked cars and not the intersection to enter the intersection. I don't know if you have anything else, Kent, regarding it.
Biggest thing was, I think we got with Jason and he was able to look at the previous wrecks that have been there too. But I think in the MUTCD manual, as far as, there's a lot of things that need to be engineered, studied, but I think when there's wrecks that have been involved, you're able to go ahead and install something.
Perfect. I didn't ask that question, but that was what I was trying to get at was.
Which that ain't uncommon for, there's a lot of stop signs that have been placed around town that have been a place that has multiple wrecks. But primarily, everything in our town is emergency routes, stop signs on emergency routes. So if there's an extra stop sign somewhere around town, it's normally because there's been multiple wrecks. So,
Okay, thank you. Do we have any other questions? If not, I would make a motion to approve Resolution 2025-14.
Second.
I have a motion by myself, second by Commissioner Howard. Mary Orshana, roll please.
Howard,
Yes.
Redland, Myers, Archer,
Yes.
Showalter.
Yes. Thank you. Move on to formal actions. Item A, 2025-501 bid award for 1615 Center. Zach?
Good evening, everyone.
Evening.
Bids were not included in your agenda packet, but they have been provided for you in front of you today. IFB 2025-0501 is for property at 1615 Center Avenue. We received 2 bids for it. Goodies came in at $6,500 with a completion date of 30 days. And S&M came in at $8,000 and 20 days per request, which is what all our bids specify. It's just, do they have time to complete it within that 20 days, or what is the soonest you can complete it? For this one, I move that we award the bid to S&M Repair for the amount of $8,000. Both of these contractors did bid on the other job as well. This property does have an inoperable vehicle in it, and with the business of S&M, it would be easier for them to take care of that while demolishing the structure at the same time.
Well, $1,500 is just a little bit much to remove a vehicle. I mean, Goodies has that opportunity too to remove, he's got rollback and stuff too, so.
The one concern I think staff had regarding the completion date of 30 days is 2 different houses. And that there's, even in the recent history of the last 3 years, a little bit of delay in removing the house. So when it's been bid, so that's been a concern that's been raised. Are they going to be able to actually meet the time frame?
For 2 houses.
So are we potentially suggesting that we pick one for each one of them then?
That would be my
Or-
recommendation. Cost-wise, it would, yes, make sense to do the cheaper bid for both of them, but if we want to move forward in getting these taken down in a timely manner, I think we go with one for each.
I guess that part I would feel a little bit more comfortable with, because I think, looking at this in 30 days, would one of these companies have the ability to take down both structures in 30 days?
They'd go down in 30 days, both of them, but
Be removed in 30
3
days.
days.
I will bring up reference of 122 West 14th Street. It goes down really fast.
Yeah. We have any other thoughts on these, on the first bid at least?
The staff can work with either bidder, there's not a question about that, it's the timing.
Do the other commissioners see an issue with spreading out the bids, or do we need to go with the lowest bid on both?
I don't see an issue with spreading out as recommended.
I mean, it's either way, whatever, it just doesn't matter, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, I guess, in the long run, these bids are pretty close, and to try to keep the business spread out a little bit, I wouldn't necessarily have an issue. I think in the end, our primary goal is to have these structures removed as quickly as possible and not try to drag it out any longer than it potentially could, so. So I would make a motion to award the bid for the 2025-501 at 1615 Center to S&M Repair in the amount of $8,000.
Second.
A motion by myself, a second by Commissioner Artser. Mary, roll please.
Artser,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Redland, Myers, Showalter.
Yes. Thank you. Move on to item B, IFB 2025-503, bid award at 302 West 15th.
This property we received 2 bids for. The first bid from Goodies was for the amount of $6,500 with a completion date of 30 days again. S&M came in a little higher on this one. It was $8,500 and also the 20 days as per request of the bid. This one I move that we award to the lowest bid of $6,500.
Any comments or concerns on this one?
I'll make a motion to approve this bid to Goodies
In the amount.
Amount of?
in the amount of $6,500.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Artser, second by Commissioner Howard. Mary, roll please.
Howard,
Yes.
Redland, Myers, Artser,
Yes.
Showalter.
Yes. Thanks, Zach. Move on to contract mower bid award.
Hello again.
Hello again.
We received one bid turned in this year. It was from Damon Rickard for the amount of $44, which is the same as last year. I move that we move forward with hiring Damon as the contract mower for $44 an hour. We looked into getting mowers and stuff, and we only spent a total of $5,200 and I think $78 for a total last year. That's basically a mower. So I don't think it would be feasible to buy a bunch of equipment if we're not going to be utilizing it to its full force.
Any questions on the mowing contract? If not, I make a motion to approve the bid for Damon Rickard for the mowing contract.
Second.
A motion by myself, second by Commissioner Howard. Mary, roll please.
Artser,
Yes.
Howard,
Yes.
Redland, Myers, Showalter.
Yes. Thank you.
Thanks, Zach.
Thanks, Zach. Move on to item D, the contract to evaluate the power supply contract offers by Midwest Municipal Solutions LLC.
I had reached out and had conversations over the last couple of weeks with John Quinday. He's the former city manager of Russell, has been involved with, when he was with Russell, with negotiations or evaluating proposals from Sunflower and from KMEA. He has also served on the board of KMEA previously. He has his own firm now of Midwest Municipal Solutions, and I asked him for some assistance, and he provided a contract. I apologize, I was not here on Friday. I didn't realize that the contract was not included in your packet, and apologize for that. Have a new person that's assisting, and we're already getting that straightened out. But it was just a simple contract that he would evaluate the 2 proposals from KMEA and also from Sunflower, and provide us quite a bit of information back in a report. And for the amount of $3,975. So I think that would be resources well spent in the evaluation of the contract, and make sure that there's, it actually was in M-Files. And Josh has put it up on the screen now. Go down a couple pages, because that's just basic standard contract language. And go ahead one more page. Now this is the attachment. It'll basically do a proposal review and comparative analysis. Whoa, I can't read that well. Using a couple different bullet points there and how to do that. And then he'll do a cost evaluation using levelized cost of energy, basically trying to make it apples to apples as far as what the proposals are. He'll also look at, and that's one concern that both Justin and myself have had, load growth and demand planning, forecast local growth, including if the grain mill and bakery come to fruition. In the industrial park, that would be quite a bit of increase over our current load. Obviously, that needs to be part of the consideration of each contract. And how that is accommodated. You also look at city-owned generation integration, and then the stakeholder engagement and reporting. He'll conduct briefings to explain the technical and financial findings in plain language, which would be helpful, and deliver a final written report with side-by-side comparisons and clear recommendations. And then he'll be able to do that within the next 4 weeks. So not the next meeting, but the following meeting. So, and then he'll ask for various data input from our staff, which we've actually already started discussing. And then if this is approved, he'll go ahead and take work in additional conversations with staff and then be able to provide that output to us. So that's the basic concept of a contract, and he's also done it for other communities. Deerfield is one community that he has gone ahead and evaluates proposals very similar to what he did here, is proposing to do here.
I think this will go a long way in helping me understand everything, at least, if not the whole commission, honestly, if not the whole community.
Yeah, it'll be nice to know the pros and cons of each contract side by side, and I hope it comes back that way.
Just curious, you said that he used to serve with KMEA, correct?
He didn't serve, he served on their board,
Served
just
on the
like
board.
Dustin does,
Okay.
or other member communities. How many board members are there on KMEA? 9. And then with alternates, that ends up about twice that number. So,
So Russell used to have Sunflower and then under his leadership switched to KMEA, or do I have that backwards?
he served on KMEA, and they use it for some things, but they've used Sunflower at this point.
Okay.
They worked out another agreement to get another interconnection with Sunflower. That was trying to work around their, because Sunflower works through their cooperative members, just like our proposal is actually from Prairie Land. The proposal to Russell, or the one they had to work with a lot of times, is Wheatland Electric. So they had to work out a separate interconnection agreement in order to get that accomplished.
Okay. Well, I would make a motion to approve the contract to evaluate the power supply contract, and somebody's gonna have to scroll up so I can see the name of the company again.
Right there at the bottom, Midwest.
Oh, Midwest Municipal Solutions in the amount of $3,975.
I second.
I have a motion by myself, second by Commissioner Artzer. Mary, roll please.
Howard? Howard?
Yes.
Redlin? Myers? Arthur?
Yes.
Showalter?
Yes. Thank you, Kent. Item E, revision of the water tower inspection contract.
Neil, as water superintendent, can supplement. I'll introduce it here. It's basically, we're on the inspection contract, on the original contract that we signed in 2023. Every other year, there's an inspection of the various towers. We did an awful lot of work on the power plant water tower last year. We're about to do some work, quite a bit of work, to the north water tower. Because of that, Viking asked for an amendment to the contract regarding the inspection. And the amended contract, instead of around $15,000, is for $3,900. And the ability to use a remote operated vehicle, an ROV, instead of having divers go into the different spheres. So that was the basic gist of the amendment to the contract.
Neil, you have anything?
We could save a lot of money to do some more improvements later on. So I think it'd be a good idea. Like Kent said, it hasn't been that long since they've inspected and done some work, and we're gonna do work on our other big tower. So as for sediment being in these tanks, it's not gonna be that bad. So if we could get by this time, save a little bit of money and move on for next 2 years would be probably, I think, the way to go.
We'll make sure when they come to town, you'll let the commissioners know so they can come out and watch that ROV. Any other questions for Neil or Kent on the revised contract to Viking?
Sounds good. I move that we approve the revised contract with water tower inspection contract for $3,900
With Viking
with
Industrial.
Viking Industries.
I'll second that. I have a motion by Commissioner Howard, second by myself. Mary, roll please.
Myers, Redlin, Howard,
Yes.
Archer. Yep. Showalter.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Always like to vote for contracts that go lower. All right, discussion items, the topics for the joint meeting with the county commission, item A.
Possible topics with the county commission. We have not met with them since the fall of 2023. And because we took care of a lot of big items by that time, and we haven't had items come up. We've had one item that has come up as far as, and it was mentioned at 2 meetings ago by the director of the 911 dispatch communications, as far as the backup 911 facility in the police department building on Armory Road. There's a possibility of doing an application for a backup generator for that facility, which they would need in order for it to be designated as an official backup 911 facility. In order to make that application, grant application, the city could do it on its own. However, it's a 75-25 grant, as far as 25% would be the city's portion. And the backup 911 facility is 911 itself, as far as the dispatch services, is a county department. So that could be one possible topic if y'all would want. A backup generator, right now, the way the electric's set up would be for the entire facility. That's why the majority of any match should come from the city, but to have it in its entirety, staff would recommend that be a topic discussion, whether the county could participate. And if we're talking about a generator for that size building, $70,000, $80,000, 25% isn't huge. If that would be sufficient, I don't know. By the time we would actually get to a generator, that might be more. Don't know. But even if it would become 100 or more, 25%, 25,000, that's not a huge amount. But at some level, since it's also providing dispatch services to all the residents that live outside the city, that should probably have some part in it. So, don't know, and I don't know if my city clerk is staring at me, if there was another topic that I forgot to bring up. No? Okay.
Not unless you want to bring up the Wollock building.
I think, not at this point, but
Could we extend an offer to the new elected sheriff, see if he wanted to come and maybe talk about the state of his department and talk about any projects that he's been working on with chief of police? I think that's a bright spot that we'd probably all like to hear about,
sure.
if he's available.
The other thing that was suggested by the county clerk was if there's not going to be too many topics to discuss or extensive topics to discuss, the joint meeting could occur at the beginning of one of our regular meetings. That's happened before, obviously, and there might be an appropriate time rather than requiring another night for everybody to be here.
Yeah, it'd probably work out the best, having just a addition to ours.
Sounds good to me.
And we can set up the room so everybody's on the same level, but
Sounds great. Anything else?
is there any of the next meetings you would prefer that to occur?
Does not make a difference to me.
That was the first meeting of next month.
We'll try to do that. I don't know regarding the deadlines for the application for the grant to make sure, but
If that don't work, we'll do next month, or,
the next meeting, we'll try to work that out with them.
Okay. Thank you. Going to the planning work session. Now, this is something that we've been discussing toward, since the beginning of the year, trying to get a strategic planning session in for everybody. And we've had some scheduling issues, so I think we're just gonna put it on the schedule and start working that direction. So if I look at my calendar, could we do one on May 27th? It's the day after Memorial Day.
That could work.
Or even the 28th would be fine.
Yeah, either day works.
27th, 28th?
Either works for me, I believe.
Okay. So do the 27th at 5 o'clock? We'll let the other commissioners know that they got outvoted tonight, and that's when it's gonna be. Perfect, thank you. Move on to reports. Mr. City Manager?
A couple things. Manager memos in your packet. The EMC dividend check is included in the packet as well, which we receive on an annual basis from EMC. But it is nice to receive that since we are a part of it, a dividend check back. The month-end financial report was in there. We did receive notice that the transportation van grant was awarded for fiscal year '26. That's the state's fiscal year. It was just a slight bit amount less, but at least it's still being funded at this point. And that is a service that's used by quite a few members of the community and probably members of the community that we're not aware of. So it is nice to have that service available. The citywide cleanup, Kenton, he got some information from the county, or attempted to get some information from the county about the cleanup results, if you want to report that, Ken.
Sorry. Anyways, I called the county today, and the lady that does the numbers is sick today, so I have no numbers how much we hauled out there, but overall it went pretty good. A lot of community people put a lot of household trash out for us, but we were able to manage getting it picked up for them. Just if anybody's out there, your plastics and your cardboard can go in your regular trash cans. So, but other than that, it went pretty smooth. Got it done. So.
Can we issue some kind of press release when we get those numbers, just to let the community know? Sure. Be good public information. And thank you to everybody that participated. I watched Derek Nichols deadlift entertainment center in the back of a dump truck, so that's pretty cool.
And there was folks from every department that assisted him, so,
Excellent. Thank you, everybody.
Yep, thank you.
at least as far as I'm aware. So. The financial system software change update, staff is still researching some additional information and is getting confirmation. They're basically working on details from a couple different options. So, from a couple different companies. So, it is proceeding, but it's just not ready for prime time as yet. So, that'll be at a future meeting, hopefully by next meeting. It might be 2 meetings from now. No? The next meeting.
I hope.
Mary wants an answer now, but we're almost there. We're getting there. And then just, again, there's a city forum, the League of Municipalities is putting on here in this room on June 4th. So, Goodland City Hall. In the afternoon, 2 to 4 that afternoon.
Perfect. Have any questions for our city manager? All right, we'll move on to commissioner reports. I'll start on my right with Commissioner Archer.
Nothing to report.
Commissioner Howard?
Nothing, I'd just like to say thank you to all the employees, even the ones that weren't out on the citywide cleanup. There was other things that had to be done too, to keep our city running. And I appreciate all the city employees. I don't want to do all their jobs, so thank you.
Thank you. I would echo that. Thank you again, everybody that participated in the cleanup and helped run all the other stuff that had to go on during that time. Danny, thank you for helping me get the picnic tables over for our event next week. I know that's coming. I know, but I know it's coming. The man of your word. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. Other than that, I have nothing further. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
I have a second, and the meeting is adjourned.